Hey everybody, Andrew here from Pacific Coast Auto, taking a look at the results of last week's auction picks. Up first, the Toyota Velfire. This one was unsold with no bids. Probably that high starting price scared off anybody who may have been interested in this one. The Subaru Legacy B4 RSK sold, going for more than double Derek's guess. That one went for $7,170. The Porsche 968 did not sell. That one only got bid up to $10,490, and that wasn't enough to take it home. The Rolls-Royce Silver Spur got bid up to $14,910. That's more than Derek thought it would go for, but it wasn't enough for the seller to let it go. The Subaru Impreza STI 20th Anniversary Edition did sell. The bidding for that one got all the way up to $15,040. The Mercedes AMG 6.0 was another case of a starting bid that was just too high. That one was unsold with no bids. The Daihatsu Copen did sell. Somebody picked that one up for $4,130. The Toyota Hilux Surf American did not sell. That one got no bids at all. That's going to do it for last week's picks. Now here's Derek with this week's.
Hey guys, I am Derek, and I'm going to run you through the next 8 cars that you guys have picked from Facebook from the auction.pacificcoastjdm.com website, where you guys get to have all the fun of checking all the cars at auction. I think it's like 120,000 cars per week, coming up new cars every hour or so. And we don't have USS cars on here. Just if you are wanting to participate, don't send in the USS auction picks. They don't like the exposure of the cars, maybe? I don't know. They have branches in their bum, and so that's why they don't let us do that. But anyways, here we go. We got 8 picks, and the first one here is from the thumbnail. And wow, I've never even heard about this car until now. The looks of it are like a punch in the face, and a good punch. It's the kind where you're like, yes please, I'll have another of those. Doesn't look like a car you would typically see on the road. No roof on it. This is called a Lotus 340R. Okay, and so a Lotus 340R is a limited production kind of version of the Elise that's stripped down, mostly used for the racetrack. The name 340R comes from the fact that only 340 of them were ever made, and so you're going to see a pretty high price on this one, I bet. And it uses a Rover K-Series engine like the regular Elise. It's an 1800 cc engine, puts out 180, almost 180 horsepower. It's like 171 or so, but I read on Wikipedia, because they're the boss, that you could get like a performance package that puts the horsepower up to like 190 if you really wanted it to. I don't know if you would though, because it's only 700 kilograms. 700 kilograms with an ultra short wheelbase and mid-engine rear-wheel drive is going to be a vehicle that is probably very easy to spin out and very easy to crash and very easy to die. And so of the 340 that were originally made, there's a good chance that not all of those are on the road. Probably half maybe? I don't know. Wikipedia, the boss, says that they're mostly only used on the track, even though they can be street legal. You can see they have tail lights on there, and headlights and stuff. So cool to see one of these. If you do buy this for export, though, it will be a little bit tricky because it has no roof. And so you need to ship it by container if you want to ship this. But still cool nonetheless. The interior looks like something straight out of a concept car. Look at this. Digital gauge here for something, and analog gauges for other things, and carbon fiber seats, and no carpet, and a little footrest. It looks really cool, and I'm surprised that I hadn't ever heard of this. They only sold them for 1 year, and they were all sold before they went into production. Okay, so details from the auction here. It's a 2006 Lotus 340R 1800cc. It's an auction grade 4.5 with an interior B, probably kept in somebody's living room all of its life. And I do wonder if this spoiler is the original one, because that's pretty crazy. And I did look at pictures, but I can't remember. Oh well. 32,813 kilometers is actually pretty high for this type of vehicle. Not like that's going to be a reliability issue, because the engine is really I don't know the engine that well, but I've seen Lotus Elises with the same engine with higher mileage and don't seem to have problems. But with a car like this, it doesn't really matter. The engine goes bad, then rebuild it. It's really about having that original chassis with the original... Stop sending me messages. Okay, so I got to say something about these messages coming in. Most people know that I bought a Honda City Turbo 2, and they're super duper rare, and one of them just came up for auction in 2 days, and it looks like the cleanest one that exists in the world, and now everybody's sending me messages about it. And I wish I could buy it, but I really don't have the money to buy a super clean Honda City Turbo 2. And so it is a USS car. I can't show it to you in this video. But if you do want to check it out, it is coming up on USS Nagoya. I hope it sells for a really high price, because then it will make me feel better about spending as much as I did on my car that doesn't run and has rust holes everywhere. Anyways, back to this video. Body is pretty much perfect. It doesn't come with the registration sticker on it, which is fine, because when you register it in Japan, you get a new sticker. It goes here and it tells you when your registration expires. The car just looks really wild. It has low production volume. Condition is good, and so we're going to see it sell for quite a bit, I think. I think in a lease of this generation, you typically see them go for between 2.5 million and 4.5, depending on the condition. I'm going to say that this one will probably go for like 5.8 million, and so that's going to be my guess on the price for this one. Thank you. Oh, I forgot to mention who it was. It's Liam Irving, and that may be your first time playing our sweet auction game. So thank you, Liam, for taking part. On to the next one. Nick Bruno sent in this one. What do you got for me? And I didn't look these over before shooting the video, and so I'm going in cold. We have a Honda Life Dunk. This is a K car with 660cc engine, and we have no interior picture. That's a little bit weird. JU Fukushima radiation zone. We've bought a few cars from Fukushima, and so far none of them have failed the mandatory for export radiation exam. At least from that area. We've had 2 cars from other areas fail, but if you're a dealer in Fukushima and you're afraid that your car has radiation on it, chances are you'll just send your car to another auction, like one far away, so that people aren't even thinking about that. Anyways, onto this one here. It's just a regular K car. It has 4-wheel drive and a 660cc turbocharged engine, so if you want it to go a little bit faster, then turn up the boost. This one has an automatic transmission. I don't know if you can get these with manual. I'm fiddling with stuff and I'm dropping it. Okay, I need to settle down. Auction grade R, interior C, exterior C, so condition doesn't look like it's that good. Mileage is a little bit high for a K car, 128, 270. We got peeling paint on the roof, some corrosion on the back corner. Always watch out for that, because you'd be surprised by how many new customers they send in their first translation requests, and they have a bunch of them with C2 on the body, and then we say, do you really want to buy a car with baseball sized corrosion on it? And they're like, no, I didn't check that. And so if you are checking for cars, make sure that you look at the body and make sure that that's suitable before you send it in. Saves your time and saves our time. Okay, so underside has corrosion on it as well. Winter tires on there. Some accident damage on the right front fender. It's been replaced, and the inner panel has some deformation. The rear floor has C3. So that you can probably step through it, and water is inside the trunk. Doesn't look that nice, but I do like the look of these, especially in the side profile, because the front has a slope to it, and then the back is completely flat, and so it kind of looks like if you take a square block and a triangle block and put them together. That's the look of this vehicle. Price-wise, I mean, condition's really bad, so like 9,000 yen maybe, and someone's going to tear it down for parts, or use it for a sweet off-roading video. Okay, on to the next one. Thanks, Nick, for sending that in. We got Bill Courtney, who sends in every time, as we know, and you sent in a rusty Jeep. That's cool. I didn't pick these ones, Andrew did, but I think, a lot of people sent in some really, really awesome cars that went through auction today already. And so they can't be cars that go through on Wednesday. They have to be Thursday or Friday or Saturday for us to include them in the video. So I'm sorry for you people. Okay, so this is a Mitsubishi Jeep. What's cool about Mitsubishi Jeeps is 2.7 liter diesel engine that's super reliable. And what's not good is Mitsubishi authentic rust, which is going to be a problem with pretty much all the Mitsubishis. And then these vehicles, even though they were made until like the mid-90s in the same body style as this, they're very old world. And so unless you're used to rickety, kind of difficult vehicles, beware of something like this. I think that they're awesome, but you have to kind of know what you're getting into before you get into it. Okay, so it's a 5-digit odometer, so mileage is not known. It says right on here. Auction grade 3, interior D, no exterior score. Corrosion hole in the back here, and then let's see what it says. Interior floor has scratch, dent, and rust. Engine Malazu. Naoka, what does Malazu mean? No, Malazu. What's the meaning of that?
止まらず.
This is a toe.
Yeah,
that
I
is
think
the smallest.
So. I think so.
Everyone can see that. This character should be the same size as these other three, but it's like 1/8 the size. What does tomarazu mean? It stalls? It can't stop? Can't stop. I mean, that's not as bad as won't start, but can't stop. Okay, I mean, the engine can't stop ever. It continues running forever. Okay, so winter tires on it. Soft top has rips in it, various scratches, dents, and rust on the car, and paint fade. So it looks like it's a clap trap. And only good for making videos and then selling again afterwards. Price-wise, these can be kind of expensive. Typical price of a fair condition one is between 300,000 and about 750,000. I think this one's going to be a little bit lower, probably somewhere in the range of about 220,000 will be my guess on this one. And this was a 3-speed, so it's the early model ones. They turned into 4 speeds later. Okay, on to the next one from Raymond Yu. This one I'm glad you sent in because not enough people know about these cars. So this is a Pulsar. Now a lot of people know about the Pulsar GTIR, which is the 2-liter 4-wheel drive Group B homologation rally car. This one here is after that, and it is a front-wheel drive 1.6-liter twin cam non-turbo that puts out, I think, 170 horsepower. So you think back to cars from the 90s, this is a 1996, there weren't a lot of cars that were making 100 horsepower per liter, and this car was. And so it's kind of along the same lines as the Honda CRX SIR or the Toyota Sprinter Sprinter 11 were also pushing out about the same amount of horsepower of a 1.6, and that alone is really cool. It's an SR engine, so not an SR20. This is an SR16, and instead of a DET, it's a VET because it has variable valve timing. So SR13 VET. Oh no, am I wrong? Displacement 2000 cc. Okay, time for face punches. There is a Pulsar that has the 1600, and I thought that it was this one, but this one might be different because this is the Autech version, which is something that I hadn't said yet. And Autech is a tuning arm or tuning branch of Nissan that makes some really sweet cars and some incredibly boring versions of regular cars as well. It's kind of weird because you think of like TRD makes only sweet cars, or Nismo makes only sweet cars. I guess that's not a very good example because they both make boring cars too. Okay, think about like an Alpina version of a BMW. I'm gonna quit. I can't think of anything that's on the spot, at least. If this were scripted, for one, we wouldn't be able to do these videos if they were scripted because it would take too long. But if they were, I could think of something funny and clever to say there. But anyway, we have a 2000cc Pulsar. Someone in the comments tell me if this car originally came with a 2000cc because I thought that they were 1600s. It might be that the Autech had the SR20 in it. It says SR20 engine. I thought these are SR16 engines. Anyways, on to the rest of this one. So it's a small accident R grade, and it's 57,586 kilometers. Aftermarket suspension, various modifications. So see for yourself. Kind of bad body damage. We got peeling paint, cracked front bumper, a big dent here with some peeling paint, a crack over here, and a misaligned side skirt. I don't know if this body kit would be the Autech body kit. Now, typically Autech would just put trim on it, like give you different wheels, give you different side skirts, give you different bumpers, and then the interior would have like a different steering wheel or various other things. But they also... We don't have a recording studio, so you can hear our doorbell. But they also have versions of cars that are quite substantially different, and I think one of the big ones is the Stagia that has the Skyline GTR engine put in it. Or the 4-door GTR version of the Skyline. And so, yeah, I do feel like I want to do some more research on this. I didn't have a chance to before the video went up. Winter tires on it, aftermarket exhaust, underside surface rest. End panel is bent from the accident. What that means is it's bent and then bent back. So it's kind of bent-ish. core support and right front inner panel bent or dented, various scratches and dents. Looks like it could be salvaged. The low mileage is definitely a big thing, and then if this is a special version with a bigger engine than the regular version of the Pulsar, then that gets 2 thumbs up and would be an interesting car to buy. The only thing is it doesn't have a big market, I think. Most likely this one would be sold to go to Europe, where Pulsars and the badge engineered version of this, Nissan made 2 versions. Lucida? Is that right? I think that's wrong, but it might be right. There is another version of the exact same car, basically, and it just has a different name. But interesting car. I can't say that I am going to say the value at all correctly, but I'm going to guess that we'll see this one around 480,000 yen. I hope. Okay, thank you, Raymond, for making me look dumb on that one. On to Redneck Hunter. Another regular, and you sent in this one. It's an interesting car, but I can't say that I know a lot about it. This is a Mitsubishi Diamante, which I believe they licensed out to Hyundai, and then so you could get a Hyundai version of the same car. And so this is Mitsubishi. I think this is Mitsubishi's competitor to the Century and the President. What we have here is a 1992, and I guess I'll just go over this because I don't know an awful lot about it, but we have a 2500cc engine, so maybe it's kind of Gloria Cedric competition, or Mark II or Cresta, something like that. Auction grade R, interior D, 75,822 kilometers, comes with leather seats, and the body is not good, and lots of marks here. So engine check light is on, power folding mirrors don't work, right front side member is dented, AC display doesn't work, underside is dented and has surface rust. Some bad things, but not completely trashy. It's a 1992, so it is an old car. Dashboard comes up, it says. Body has paint fade on it, various scratches and dents, end panel dented. This fender and this trunk have marks from being removed and put back on. A U3 is too much for me, but some people wouldn't mind. I don't think that it's a beautiful car. Usually I think, like, good looking cars, everybody agrees that they look good, and then ugly cars, I usually think they look good and then nobody else agrees with me. I think this car is somewhere in between. I don't think it's ugly enough to be loved because of its ugliness, like the Honda City Turbo 2, but I don't think that it's a good looking car either, and I think the headlights look really weird. So, and I don't know if it's rear wheel drive or front wheel drive. My feeling is that this is a front wheel drive car. So I'd like somebody to tell me, because I don't feel like going to Google and finding it out myself. But usually these type of cars are rear wheel drive, so if it is front wheel drive, that would be weird. Okay, as for price, I'm going to say 80,000 yen. It's going to be cheap. Not a lot of people know about this car or necessarily want them. Okay, thank you for sending that one in. Again, another one that I don't know about. Okay, so let's see if I do better with the next one. Eric sent in this one. Eric Elton. Eric, are you a first-time poster? I don't know. This is an SIR version of the Honda Accord Wagon. Now, I just shot a report on a Honda Accord Wagon, the next generation after this, and was very pleased with that. Video's going up in, I think, 3 days from now. And this generation, I very much like. Hondas are great vehicles with great reliability, prices are good, and I think styling is good, and they just feel better than most manufacturers when you drive them. There's something Honda about them, and it feels very different. And once you've had a Honda, then you can kind of relate to that. And it's hard to explain otherwise, so I'm not going to try. The reason I like these is that the 2.3 liter engine is pretty nice, very reliable, and the prices are really super low, even for the good condition ones. What's interesting about this one is that it has 300,000 kilometers on it, and it's probably still going strong. I don't think many people are going to be buying something like this. It's engine makes strange sounds. Okay, well, it's reliable up to 300,000 at 205 kilometers, and then after that, you're on your own. Underside scratched, dented, surface rust, and corrosion cracks, oil leak. I think the seller's asking too much with a start price of 42,000. I don't think it's going to sell, and I think we're going to see it again next week as a no inspection car. and then the seller is going to get his $200 for the car by scrapping it. So, yeah, I don't think it's going to go sold, and if it does sell, nobody's going to pay over this. So, $42,000. Great car. This one's not a great version, but they're super common and very easy to get a good condition one. Okay, on to the next one. The second to last one, Leslie Lee. This is an exciting car. This is a Nurburgring version of the STI. And so I think they only made like 400 of these or so. And you get flashy yellow paint, and you get this lip is part of the package, and this spoiler is part of the package. And so this is all stock. That's how the car comes from the factory. The Subaru Special Editions usually sell out before they go on sale. They usually only make like 200 to 400 or 500 of them. And I think they hold their value pretty well. I think that most of the Special Limited Editions, depending on which one it is, you're looking at about 10 to 20% more to the value compared to a regular one. Unless it's a 22B, in which case you're like 5 times the regular STI value. They should make a new 22B. I don't know why they don't do that. So this is a 2016 Subaru S207 WRX STI Nurburgring Challenge package. So the S207, every year they put out an S one, and they, well, maybe not every year, but I think it's every year. Okay, so an S, there's like an S202, an S203, an S204, and the number goes up one time each time that they make a new version. But this one here, the NBR, stands for Nurburgring Challenge Package, and that is a special version of a special car. So that gives it a little bit more thumbs up and bright, shiny smiles coming your way. It's an auction grade 6, which means it's basically new car condition and interior A. 3,043 kilometers on it, and underside has been painted. Basically, you're looking at a 3,000 kilometer brand new car, and the price of this may even be higher than the original retail price of these because of that. Because you couldn't buy one of these if you wanted to. You know, you can call Subaru when they just came on sale, and they would say, nope, sorry, they were sold out before most of the general public even knew that they were available. And so you know, a lot of people are like, wow, yellow is too flashy of a color. I disagree. I think that I think yellow suits the kind of boy racer-ish image of this car, and that's fine. I think it's good looking, and I think I would drive it as a fun car, probably not as a daily though. It might be a little bit too strong for Grandpa Derek to drive. Like springs too stiff, engine too noisy. Yep, I've turned into a grandpa. I'm going to be like my grandpa and buy a Vitz as my final car. Okay, so price for this one starts at 5.3. I could see this one going for like 6.2 million. Okay, and on to the very last one from Jalmari Raipalia. Sent in a Honda Beat, which I think is a good to pick these types of cars because most of the people who subscribe to the channel, they know about these cars really well, but there are a lot of people who don't know anything about the Beats. And so if they're going to be watching this video, and if you were interested enough to make it all the way to the end, then you get to learn about the Honda Beat, which is Honda's 660cc mid-engined soft top convertible, very noisy and brash rear-wheel drive, very fun to drive, and I guess fairly reliable. I mean, we've sold a few of them. I just reported on one today. The yellow color is fairly common. There's red and yellow and white and black are the common colors. I've also seen them in blue and maybe something else. But the yellow and the red are kind of the two colors. And I think the yellow was the one that was in most of the advertising when this was a new car. It looks really good with these wheels that kind of have the Watanabe look, RS Watanabe look. But maybe a different company, because a bunch of different companies make wheels that look like that. This one's importable to the USA now. It is a 1991 condition. Whoa, looks really good. Okay, so what we have here is auction grade 4, interior B, which is remarkable for a car this old. 59,357 kilometers is quite low for the amount of mileage. RS Watanabe wheels. Front is 13-inch and rear is 14-inch, and that's the same as these when they were brand new. They had 12s and 13s for the wheels, and so they went up one size front and rear. And Watanabe is a brand name expensive wheel, so good for that. Aftermarket exhaust. I wonder what that's going to sound like. One of the things I don't like about the Beat is how noisy they are, because there's not much sound insulation between the engine and you. and so they're very noisy to drive. So I wonder what it's like with an aftermarket exhaust. Bride full bucket seat, or at least this aftermarket exhaust. I have driven them with aftermarket exhausts, but each one will sound a little bit different. Nardi steering wheel. Exterior has 1 part paint fade, and that's basically it. These circled parts are a windshield rock chip, interior dirty and scratched, wheels scratched, and door mirror scratched. Most every car has these on them, so I don't really pay that much attention to them. It's usually the ones that are written down here that's more worth understanding. Various scratches and dents. You got a U2 here, so that's a medium dent on the underside of the side sill, and another one here. Sometimes people misplace the jack, and sometimes people run over like a little curb, and that's how that happens. But you wouldn't be able to see that damage from outside. And then front bumper scratch. These Beats, they commonly sell for between $300,000 and about $600,000 for most of the good condition ones. But since this one's super clean, I think that we're going to see it go for about $600,000 is going to be my guess on it. And that concludes this video. So I hope I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks a lot for listening and watching, and we're going to see you again next week with another video.